Yo, what is up, guys? It's Freddy Knows Ball, and we're back here with a brand new video today. Let's get right into it. The best way I could teach you guys ratios would be just to show you guys the example questions. So let's start with this one. For the values j and k, the ratio of j to k is 11 to 12. If j is multiplied by 17, what is k multiplied by in order to maintain the same ratio? Alright, so this is almost a trick question because you have to identify that it says multiplied. If j is multiplied by 17, what is k multiplied by in order to maintain the same ratio? Guys, to maintain the same ratio, you have to multiply it by the same thing, or else it won't be the same ratio anymore. So this can trip a lot of people up because they can start trying to go through proportionality and stuff. No, you guys don't need any of that. Just multiply by 17, and that is what the question's asking. So 17 is the correct answer here. Here's the second question. At a particular track meet, the ratio of coaches to athletes is 1 to 26. If there are X coaches at the track meet, which of the following expressions represents the number of athletes at the track meet? So there are 26 times more athletes than there are coaches. So if we're trying to find the number of athletes and X is the number of coaches, 26 times the number of coaches, X is going to be the number of athletes. So 26 times X, or B. And so that is pretty much conceptually what ratios are, right? Now we have rates. An object travels at a constant speed of 12 centimeters per second. At this speed, what is the time in seconds that it would take for the object to travel 108 centimeters? So for this one, we can set up some proportionality. 12 centimeters is to 1 second, as 108 centimeters is to X seconds. And when you cross multiply that, you get 9. 9 times 12 is 108. And so for 9 seconds at 12 centimeters per second, you will travel 108 centimeters. Whichever way you guys think makes more sense, whatever's faster and more understandable for you guys. I just want to give different perspectives because there are so many different ways to solve these problems. Here we have a little bit of a harder question. The population density of Cedar County is 230 people per square mile. The county has a population of 85,100 people. What is the area in square miles of Cedar County? So we've got 85,100 people times 1 square mile over 230 people. And so when we multiply that out, we have 370 square miles. So you really just have to understand how to set this one up, and it comes really easily. Now we have percentages, which is pretty doable on the Desmos side of things, but it's also good to know how to do it without Desmos. So here's the first question. Of 900,000 beads, 828,000 are silver. What percentage of the beads are silver? All right, so if we chuck this into Desmos, we can find out what the fraction is from 828,000 over 900,000. And we get 0.92 as the decimal that Desmos spits out to us. We know that 0.92 out of 1 of the beads are silver, which is 92% of them. Here's the next question, and it's simply asking what is 10% of 370. So there are two different ways you can solve this. Two different optimal ways. The first one is by multiplying 370 by 0.1. And the reason it's by 0.1 is because to convert percentages to decimals, you move the decimal place 2 spots to the left. And it goes the other way for decimals to percentages. To convert a decimal to a percentage, you move the decimal place 2 spots to the right. And so 10% of 370, you can also pretty much just do this in your head. You low-key just gotta think about it, and it's clearly 37. But you can also do this with Desmos. If you literally type in 10 and then shift 5 if you're on a Mac or laptop or computer, you will get this percent of sign that pops up. And then you just type in 370 and it'll spit out the answer like that. Really cool, really neat in my opinion. So yeah, that's how you can gain percentages. Now we have a percent change question, and this is where you can also use what I taught you in the last question, with multiplication. What number is 20% greater than 60? So one thing that you have to identify with when it's percentages and when it's an increase, you have to put 100% on top of the percentage that's currently there. So this is 20% greater than 60. So if I do 0.2 times 60, I'm going to get a smaller number. We're trying to look at a bigger number than 60. And so you have to say 120% of 60, which is the same thing. So 1.2 times 60 equals 72, and that's why our answer is 72 here. Now we have a question. This is actually a hard question according to College Board. Let's go ahead and look at it. The result of increasing the quantity x by 1800% is 684. What is the value of x? All right, so we can actually just plug in the numbers here. You can just try each number and see which one makes sense. And in this case, 36 is the correct answer. So if you plug in 36 for x and you increase it by 1800% or multiply it by 19, you will get 684. And you can double check that because 684 divided by 19 is indeed 36. So yeah, that's how to solve the hard difficulty percentage questions right there. And finally, we have unit conversions. Let's read this question. A kangaroo has a mass of 28 kilograms. What is the kangaroo's mass in grams? So for unit conversions, you want to set up what you know first. We know it has a mass of 28 kilograms. So I'm writing 28 over 1. 28 kilograms over 1 gram times, and you want to put the kilograms diagonal to where you put it the first time. So I put it in the top left here. I want to put it in the bottom right now. So 1 kilogram goes in the bottom right, and 1,000 grams goes in the top right. And that's the conversion factor. So now we have grams as the final unit because kilograms cancels out. And we can see that the correct answer is A, because it's 28 times 1,000, which is 28,000. All right, now this is a harder difficulty question. We have a big number here. It's super scary, I know. But trust me, if you guys understand how squared works, when it comes to unit conversions, you guys will be just fine here. A certain park has an area of 11,863,808 square yards. What is the area in square miles of this park? All right, so let's take this one step at a time. 11,863,808 yards squared over 1 times, we have to put yards squared in the bottom right. So 1,760 yards squared in the bottom right. Since it's yards squared, we have to square the 1,760. So it's going to actually be 3,097,600. I know it's confusing, but just bear with me, guys. So that's what we have in the denominator, and we're just going to have 1 mile in the numerator. And so everything cancels out besides square miles, so we know we're ready to just do the math and find the answer. So we have 11,863,808 over 3,097,600. And that comes out to 3.83 as our final answer. So B is our final answer. That is going to wrap up the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please feel free to like and subscribe, as well as leave any questions you have in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.